40. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your favorite midday NFL news show on the internet. Fourth and forever, Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans. And I got to tell you, boys, I was just live for 3 hours watching the rebirth of Keon Coleman. My boy going out there. He's ready for a damn incredible year, too. Absolutely poo-pooing on the Chicago Bears secondary. Good God, inject it in my veins, man. We have Josh Palmer out there catching touchdowns. Elijah Moore making a name for himself. And dare I say we have a run defense? I don't know. We'll save it for the show. As you can see, Richie is not with us today. So we have our good friend Troy, Dose of Dion 2.0, our Lions contributor on the network, filling in. Troy, what's going on with you, man?
Man, nothing cool. You know what I mean? I was trying to think
cool?
what. Yeah. While you were talking, I knew that's where it was going. So let me think of something fire that's happened. Nothing's really cool happened the last few days. But I'll tell you what, man, it's crazy. Yeah, it is a little depressing. I shouldn't have started that way. But the season is right around the corner, and it's crazy how fast we're getting through this. Just thinking like the preseason's about done. Dolphins getting whooped, so I know TD wants this to end, but unfortunately the regular season's going to start. So, it's good, man. Dan, I'm happy to be here. It's good to be back.
It's some quality stuff. It's funny because I had quite a few Bears fans actually rate in my live chat earlier because they also wanted to be informed. And looks like I ended up funneling over a bunch of haters for you, Troy, especially since you're one of the rivals right over at the NFC North Roundtable. I did tell them to subscribe because I'm not sure how much Nick actually brings to the table as far as Bears fans. Have you started noticing, like, since you started doing the NFC North Roundtable, that some rival fans hop into your shows and troll you, or not so much?
No, definitely, and it began with the Bears fans. It was the Bears fan, it was Bear fans before the Roundtable started that were they were on it, and they believed it was going to happen. And now that it started, it continues to be the Bears fan. I'll tell you what, though, I feel the Vikings fans are always the most chill. I can rock with Vikings fans.
Is that right?
Yeah, for me at least, it's always been good time. And I jump in their chat like, oh man, it's good to have you here. I'm like, man, rock with the Vikings fans. Yeah. So shout out to the Vikings fans, but the Bears fans, no, they're haters.
So I think I can tell you what, like from my perspective, it's actually Patriots fans that I'm typically cool with, right? Mm-hmm. For some odd reason, I never really have a bad interaction with a Patriots fan, like right on my show. It was Dolphins, but I mean, so I think after years and years and years of my team completely disappointing them, most of them have died off, at least metaphorically. So for now, it's relatively peace. Like most of the teams in the AFC East have quote unquote bent the knee, which is good. So like now they've just given me the respect that this team deserves. And we have TD Finstock in the building. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm great. I want to be clear. Dan said most teams in the AFC East have bent the knee. That means there's a team that hasn't.
It should be the Dolphins bent the knee to me, man.
They're the real threat. All right. But no, man, I'm excited to be here today. Fourth and forever. We got Dion in the building. Yeah, man, and I can't wait to hear from him on how the Dolphins, we got bullied 2 days ago. Then we came back and delivered the knockout blow the next day. So I want to hear what he has to say about it, what he's heard out here. So we can get a good gauge on that. Outside of that, man, listen, we got some good stuff to talk about. I can't wait to talk about the story that you have on the agenda today. That's an interesting one. So
yeah, you know what, man? Listen, I just wanted to file in the haters a little bit, and so I could bait them into thinking things didn't go well when quite the opposite actually happened. I'm pretty high on these damn Buffalo Bills, but you know what? We do have our Lions contributor on the show, so I think one of my favorite topics is this NFC North division. It's wildly competitive. And since we have our boy on here, I got to ask you, dude, right? Like the biggest gripe with the Detroit Lions this year, or maybe what rival fan bases are trying to manifest as a talking point, is Lions are going to start off slow because of the brand new coordinators that have been taken over. And they're thinking that there's going to be a learning curve rather. So I got to ask you, going into the 2025 season, as the Bears have seemingly improved on paper, stealing your offensive coordinator, obviously, I think people are still high on J.J. McCarthy since it's been proven that O'Connell is able to bring the best out of any quarterback that is actually brought to the table. I'm not so much sure how you feel about the Green Bay Packers. I'm not so high on them. I'm sorry, Bass. Will there be a bit of a learning curve as these new coordinators sort of fill in? And could you potentially see a regression due to that fact? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think, and I had someone bring this up to me, but I think it's true. I think just naturally our offense has to be worse this year because I think we scored 33 a game. So it's like, okay, naturally you're going to be a little worse, and that's just going to happen. Otherwise, it'd be crazy. So I expect it to be a little bit of a step back this season. But I think the best benefit we have to what you're saying, Dan, in terms of a learning curve, at least on the offensive side of the ball, is that it's pretty much the exact same in terms of having Goff. The run scheme should be the same, which is what we've leaned on because we just promoted our O-line coach. So because of that, I expect the offense to be okay. I actually think John Moran's background is pretty strong. Richie would have maybe some comments on that with the Jets. He was their OC for a minute. So I'm actually pretty confident with him. I think the biggest thing is going to be the balancing act of John Moran typically likes to push the ball deep down the field, and having his own wrinkle of how he does it is going to be the key there. But I expect him to lean heavily on the backs. I mean, I think the key, bigger than John Morton, because I think a lot of people don't even know who this guy is, people know who Stanford's coach was for the longest time. That's now coming in. He's working as our pass game coordinator, David Shaw. And people know that name, right? I think it's more the assistants that we've brought around in their kind of style, and I think they're going to lean a lot heavier into making it look different than Ben. They'll have their own unique style of like, oh, there's a lot of two running backs going on. This looks a little bit different. But defensively, that's actually I don't want to say I'm concerned, but that's where I wonder the most because it should be the same. It's like, hey, you're just promoting a guy from within. The linebacker coach becomes the DC. That should be the same. But I just wonder, it's like, where is Kelvin Shepard going to pick up? Is he kind of going to have to go through his own struggles like I thought Glenn did early and figure it out and be like, oh, that didn't work against him. We tried the wrong thing there. And I kind of anticipate that's going to happen. The positive is, again, a lot of similar pieces back there, but I expect that to be a little bit slower. But the last thing I'll say about this is the idea that what the Lions did, the way that they filled in their new position coordinators or their new offensive and defense coordinators, the idea that they did it like the wrong way, I think is crazy because the way they did it was essentially what they did the first time around. I mean, Dan Campbell hired a guy that he was familiar with that had never been a DC before that worked as a positional coach to become the defense coordinator in Glenn. That's what he did with Kelvin Shepard this time around. And the offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, was from within. Ben Johnson was an in-house promotion that was a tight end coach that was here before that became the offensive coordinator. So I think the path that we've taken is very similar, but yeah, I expect it to be a little bit worse on the offensive side.
So you would assume that since both of these guys are disciples from the previous coordinators, you would think that something has rubbed off on them. You still have the majority of your personnel, which made the Lions offense so electric last year. I'm not particularly buying in that there's going to be much of a learning curve at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope that you're right. I mean, it's more so for me, it's the thing of just what is going to be unique because I don't expect it to be like, oh, this is Ben Johnson's offense again. Like John Moran's going to have his own say because if he doesn't, I think that's a problem. I think if it's not, this is different. This is uniquely John Moran's thing offensively. Then I think that's a problem because he's just trying to rehash what worked. It's like, no, he's got to be him. You hired him for a reason, so let him be himself. But I think overall to what you're saying, Dan, is the structure of how you go about it, knowing that we still want to be heavy run, we still want to be heavy man, we still want to blitz a lot. I don't think that structure is going to change very much because I think that whole identity is Dan Campbell's identity. The nuances is the coordinators.
And so what do you got on that, TD? And so your expectations for the Lions this year while saying goodbye to Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn?
2 wins. No, in all seriousness, the Lions, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. I mean, they just survived joint practices with one of the best teams in the NFL and, held their own. So, that's a big step. But no, I think I think Dan Campbell's energy and leadership breeds, I mean, it's infectious throughout the locker room and the coaching staff. So I think he's going to have him 2 young and upcoming coordinators that are going to eventually shine. I do believe there will be a few growing curves starting out, game time situation against great teams. What do those guys do? Maybe they mess up or they, don't dial up the right things starting out, but eventually continue to learn from it and get better and better. And I don't think they'll be better than last year, though. I think they'll still be competitive and they'll still have a good chance of winning the division, but I don't think that they actually become better than they were last year. I think that they slightly regress to a point that you don't even notice. Just because, again, those coordinators losing both, we got to see how the new guys call it, how they transition into it. Now, if they hit the ground running and they learned enough from Ben Johnson and I don't know why I keep Aaron Glenn. If they learned enough and it's a mirror image, then they will improve. Let's not forget this about the Lions too. This was the most injured team in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, last year. You know, you go into a regular season, those numbers reset. You might still have a few people banged up or whatever, but those numbers in large reset. And if they could stay healthy, we still don't know the version that we're going to get. But we've already seen that version go to an NFC championship game and lose. They are a year away from getting over a hump to potentially go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I just think that this is a year of not reset, but reestablish. Because of the coordinators leaving, all right, we're still here, and now we're still going to build onto this. So I think that they can make it all the way to the NFC Championship game again and lose, but next year will be the year where they're trying to get over that hump and go the extra distance if they can stay healthy.
I'll tell you what, man. And so a lot of storylines coming out of that damn NFC North. But you know what? Something's kind of like brewing in the dome right now, if you know what I'm saying. Last night, we ended up seeing the Cleveland Browns had two players that were added to the team, one in which was a running back in Quinshon Judkins, who had some sort of alleged incident that occurred in South Florida that made him ineligible to be a part of the team. He is back. They ultimately ended up dropping that case. Now Isaiah Bond, who all of those charges were dropped against him, gone. It sounds like with the prosecutors are no longer pursuing any sort of legal action. Color me shocked. Okay. And now they are added right to this roster. And I look at everything that they added this year, right? Of course, you have Shador, right, who has been playing pretty well in the preseason. Don't you dare sleep on Carson Schweschinger, who had a hell of a preseason week one. I'm very high on that linebacker. Did the Cleveland Browns quietly walk away with perhaps one of the best draft classes in 2025? Since both of these new players have been added, I'm going to go to TD on this one, man. The Cleveland Browns with Isaiah Bond and Quinshon Judkins technically being activated right to their roster.
I don't remember, but where was Judkins drafted? If I'm
second round, two. Yeah.
And Bond was there.
He was undrafted due to all of those allegations that were against him.
But he would have been what?
Bond? I don't know. What do you think, Troy?
I think, fourth? yeah, probably day three.
Probably. Yeah.
Because Golden took his spot, basically.
Even without the allegations, say it never happened.
Yeah, third or fourth, probably.
Oh, I thought it was okay. Maybe I'm tripping. I thought it was like second.
Yeah, he had some problems over in Texas as far as like his play. Like he was fast, but dropping issues.
Okay,
but then again, he had Quinn Ewers throwing him the football, so it made sense.
Oh, yeah. Damn,
hey, 5 for 18, TD. He was cooking. You tell him.
Quinn Ewers cooking out there, boy. Damn,
boy, you a hater too, Dion. First off, let me say this about the Browns. If they get these kids in the building, especially Judkins, given a running back situation, if that O-line plays better, the Browns could be the biggest sleeper team in the league. But that would depend on them having a quarterback. We all know what Flacco is. Spark type guy, but it's not going to be, he no longer plays the game in a way where it's going to be long, sustainable, solid play. It's a spark. It's a, hey, here and there, I'm going to give a spark, but then I'm going to look bad in another week. And I think this team, if they start out red hot with Flacco, when, maybe start out with the 4-2 type situation and shock everybody, the moment Flacco starts to get shaky, which is inevitable to me, they got to go with one of their young guys that they love, and preferably Shadur Sanders. And that can spark this team. They have weapons. This is the piece that nobody talks about. They have weapons with Njoku. If you added Judkins as the running back, and you also got I don't know why I'm running a blank on the wide receiver.
You have Isaiah Bond.
No.
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, I'm tripping. So Jerry Jeudy, I mean, they have some weapons. This team could actually play that role this year that hurts other teams. I don't think they can be well enough to make a playoffs, but they could be well enough to say, hey, you're trying to win a division. Bam, there goes a random loss that nobody saw coming for you. Bam, there goes a random loss for you too, especially in their division. Because no matter how good or bad a team is in the division, they always play each other well. That's just normal. It's a slugfest because they know each other best. So Cleveland can be scary good in the way of winning 7 games, and in 5 of those 7 really hurt somebody that shouldn't have been. So yeah, that's what I think over in Cleveland. This is a huge boost for them, though. 2 more weapons that they can work in and see if they have something.
Troy, what do you think? Does Cleveland, did they walk away with one of the sneakiest, best draft classes since Quinshawn and then Isaiah Bond are now added to their team?
I mean, I would say no, but hey,
like, nah, screw them. They suck.
Probably not. But I actually do like a lot of these players before they took. You're right. I think Schlesinger's a dog. I think the big positive for what TD's saying is the coaching. Because Jim Schwartz has like just been there defensively, and it feels like I think I know what TD was trying to say. They feel like the spoilers, which is not great. You don't want to come into week 1 as the spoilers. It's like that's like week 9 when you're out of the playoffs kind of thing. But it feels like they're that from jump. But they could have a lot of these guys that are kind of like reclamation project. I mean, kind of for Bond in a way, because it's like we didn't know if he was even going to play this year. But also guys like Devin Bush defensively, who is like we've seen flashes, and now it's like, well, maybe now is the time. And then they have that paired with a lot of just young guys. And all of these young guys should be in a spot to play. Now, we didn't see much of Harold Fannin in that first preseason game, which is disappointing. But all the young guys, they had so many high draft picks, they should be in spots to play major roles. So I think they're in a spot where it's like maybe you get a stretch, which is nice this season. Maybe they get a couple upset wins on divisional foes. I don't know how much more they can do with that, because I think what TD said is the most important part. That offensive line has seemed to just gotten older and more banged up as time has gone on. And it's went from, you would think of Cleveland with Baker as they would run over everybody and Nick Chubb was a problem. And all of a sudden the last couple of years it's became like, oh man, who are these dudes? No one's consistently on the field. They're not dominating. They're not mauling teams, but they have so many of the same names in there. So what are you going to get out of that group? That seems like where it's all going to start. And if they get enough out of that, I could see what TD's saying in the sense of maybe 5 wins. Maybe 5, and they pull off an upsetter here or there. That's kind of the sense I get.
5 wins for the Cleveland Browns. That is a hot take right there.
Well, I don't think it's a hot take.
I suppose it's not a hot take. Like, really, when you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm just trying to be the hero for any Browns fan that may be in here hanging out with us. Guys, 181 of you are on YouTube right now. 40 of you are on X. Please do us a favor and hit that thumbs up sign. What we are trying to do is make sure that we grow this family to new heights. And how we do that is just by hitting that thumbs up sign so more people that are desperate to talk ball, talk football, can join in and be a part of the conversation. If, for example, that you ever want to call into the show, I can tell you this. All you need to do is just go to our Patreon link. It is in the description, and you would be able to sign up and have the ability to call into every single Roundtable show on the network. It's only $10 per month, and you also get a bunch of exclusive content, which is going to be a bonus episode of Fourth and Forever, which is going to be a bonus episode of some of your favorite divisional shows, film reviews later on, some college film reviews from our boy Troy and some other people as well. So go on ahead and sign up for the Patreon if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. Next up, Rashee Rice. And I got to tell you what, many people are trying to parade around that this is a good thing for the Kansas City Chiefs because they have Rashee Rice is set to be able to play for at least the first 5 games of the season for the Chiefs. Some Chiefs fans that I have talked to think that this is absolutely worst case scenario. They would have much rathered having Rashee Rice miss the first 4 games opposed to missing out on him in the middle of the season, and many are suggesting he could be out all the way until a 6-game suspension smack dab in the middle of the season. What do you think, guys? Is this a good thing for the Chiefs that his suspension is going to be midway through the season, or is it a bad thing? I'm going to Troy on this one, but first, I want to see this $10 super chats coming on in. Thank you so much. Just a suggestion for the show. It would be cool to have a guest fourth panelist for the RTS contributors to get input on major news around the league that may affect those teams or the division. Chaz Brown's coming on in. So maybe he's suggesting a fourth reporter. So to come on in, sort of like what Schefter does with the, or with Tom Pelissero.
That's already in the plans. It's already in the plans.
Already in the plans, man. We appreciate that $10 donation. Chaz Brown, thank you so much for the contribution and the advice, man. We love it. We love to hear it. Troy, tell me, man, does this benefit the Kansas City Chiefs, or does this work to their detriment? Talk to me.
Yeah, I tend to think it's not great to be on and off, because I think that through the first half of the season, I always look at it as that's kind of where you're figuring out who you are as a team. So he can be out there the first 4 weeks, and it could be beneficial. I mean, the first 10 weeks are difficult games, and it could be beneficial. I mean, you open up with the divisional team, so you would think that's important. The Chargers, I think, now, unfortunately, the Chargers had a big injury, but it feels like they're a top competitor in that division. Then you have a great game against Philly, but that's NFC, so how much does that really mean outside of just a lot of buzz and who's the best team 2 weeks through the season, that kind of deal. But then you got the Ravens, and then the Ravens are kind of playoff positioning. So you could have all of those games really matter, but I always think that it's difficult to have a guy through first 4 games. You kind of figuring out who you are. You're making tweaks as a team. Maybe you're changing up what you're doing stylistically, but then you take out who might be their best offensive weapon outside of Travis Kelce, but even including Travis Kelce, you might just take him out of the mix. And then it's like, all right, now let's figure out who we are. So then you have to go to a side mission. You got to figure out who you are as a team without him, and then you got to bring him back and figure it out. So it could be beneficial to throw off teams potentially, but I always think it's difficult, because I think that's where you're growing and you're figuring it out and you're kind of tweaking who you are, and you're going to miss him through the middle portion of that. Versus if you just didn't have him through the beginning of the season, you could kind of slowly work him back in. Either way, it stinks, but that's kind of the sense that I get. Either way, you're going to have massive games through that stretch. You may be better off in terms of winning to have him early, because through the second part of that stretch where you're probably going to miss him, it's teams like the Raiders, and I think you'll beat him without him.
Oh, my God. It is Rashee Rice. TD, would you have rather had Rashee Rice miss the first 4, or so do you think that this benefits the Chiefs by having him miss midway through the season?
Yeah, I'm an individual that feel like, hey, I want him to miss the first 4. And by the way, I am Richie Malura reporting live. I want him to miss the first 4. Because I want him to get that momentum going throughout the season. I don't want this mid-season. I don't want it late season. I don't want to mess up any momentum. I want to be able to make sure that we get out of the gate strong. We don't want to end up like the Bengals. Another thing people need to realize about the Kansas City Chiefs, let's not act like their offense hasn't really kind of struggled to their standard. They have been led by that defense. And you cannot afford to not at least give the bare minimum. And without a Rashee Rice, they can still be okay, but you're going to need that piece of it. That division isn't getting any easier. Denver's up and coming. The Chargers with Harbaugh are doing well. And the Raiders, I guess that's the team that you just, they're not doing as well, in my opinion. Got a lot going on. But overall, you want to get this out the way. So that's how I feel about it. I would rather first 4 games right away.
Yeah, me too. Nothing is worse than breaking down the chemistry or limiting it. But then again, we're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, and they played the entire season without Rashee Rice last year, barring, I think, the last 2 regular season games, maybe going into the playoffs, and they played the entire season without Hollywood Brown. So I'm sure that Andy Reid and the evil empire will figure it out once again. All right? No matter what, of when Rashee Rice is gone, it's inevitable at this point, and I completely refuse to ever bet against that dastardly team, which completely kills me. It completely kills me. Folks, hit that like button. 268 of you are currently in the building right now. We love you for it. Tom Brady 7 rings has come in. TD and the Patriots in the playoffs. Watch for those stats.
Man, I'm going to keep saying it, man, and I may be overhyping them, but the Patriots, they will have a good team this year, and they are not to just be overlooked and say, I just think that they're going to have a good team, and they can actually win maybe 10 games because Vrabel's going to come with the defense, and it's just a matter of can that offense get enough done? Can they put up 23 points a game? Because Vrabel will probably have a league average of about 22. So can they put up 23 points a game? I'm not sure, unless the defense is also getting turnovers and scoring on those. Then they can be a handful. But the Patriots are going to make a 360 in my opinion.
Troy, you know what?
180. Sorry.
Like that team has actually been a hot topic over on this channel real fast. And that's not, don't worry, we're going to be getting to Joey Bosa here in a hot second. All right. But thoughts on our good friend Drake May. And this is against the Vikings defense, which I think is actually even more impressive. Right on the run. He's trying his best for a Josh Allen impression over there. Solid draft class. And so I'm sure that Troy, him and I, like we talked a lot over the offseason about draft prospects. They got one of my favorite wide receivers in Kyle Williams. All right. They have Stephon Diggs, a couple of other additions. I think there's more to like be yearned for when it comes into the offensive line. That's for damn sure. But TD and I are hopping on the train. Like we think that New England actually has an opportunity of squeezing in as a wild card team this year. What are your thoughts on it from an outside perspective? Obviously, there's no skin in the game for you since you're an NFC North fan, but thoughts on the Pats? What do you got?
Man, I'm with you guys on that. Like, I tend to like the Jets roster better, but I just don't buy Fields that much. That's the problem that I have. And when I see, like, I saw a clip. I don't know who put it together. It's wrong, but like someone just put a clips together of him just missing throws, and they're just like he's in midseason. I'm like, this isn't necessary, but it's I'm sure there's good throws in there. But if this is what I'm watching, it scares me a little bit. I'm like, I don't know how far you're gonna go with this, but I like that team. Like on paper, I feel like, oh, you should be able to run the football here. You should be able to really run the football, and it's like from getting off the ground, that feels like the starting step. When I look at New England, I don't trust the O-line as much. That's a problem that I have, right? You got a rookie at center who I thought would be a guard in the NFL, so I just don't trust it as much. Will Campbell should help them and should make them better. That's been such a disaster for them for years there, but it's not great. I mean, they have they are going to play Jared Wilson, but they have Garrett Bradbury at center. Like, that's not a good center. That's not a good offensive line from that. Mike Onwenu, like, I don't know if that's going to work. Morgan Moses isn't a good tackle. He's fine. I know Richie likes him, but like that's where I'm at with it. So I'm with you, TD, in the sense that the defense should get right. Now, I think Harold Landry was a reach. He has a connection with him. I know that's going to work. I just don't think he gets that much pressure, like at all. So I don't think he's going to change the game. So it's going to come down to the Keon Whites and that interior being dominant. But you can make that work. That should dominate the Dolphins if we're keeping it real. Like that should give the Dolphins some problems. I mean, TD, let's be honest. Like the week, I'm thinking about the division, right? Because where does it start? Well, you got to beat your divisional teams first, right? That's where it starts. Yep. So is New England beat to beat Buffalo? I don't know. I mean, Buffalo's got a great offensive line, so maybe a little bit. Like, is that a huge advantage? Dolphins probably. I mean, just because they'll probably give them problems up front, and they should have the cornerbacks to deal with it. I don't know that they'll have the speed, but they should have the cornerbacks to be okay there. And then you go to a team like the Jets, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, they should be able to limit that offense. Overall, I think they're going to be better, and it just comes down to Drake May. I think it's just that simple, right? How great is Drake May really in the year two? But if it's similar to last year, I kind of like the Jets better. But I expect him to take a big step like I think you guys do.
So here's a very important question. Who finishes last in the AFC East this year, Troy?
See, and this is why I don't like doing this, because this is not is not personal. This is not personal. I think the Dolphins will fire their coach during the year. But it's not. But TD, it's not a personal thing against the Dolphins. You know what I mean? It's just the vibes are bad. TD, can we think the vibes are bad with the Dolphins? Like when every time you watch the coach, I get a little bit concerned at the pressers. I'm like, oh, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right, right? It doesn't feel like a coach that's about to lead his team and surprise people this year. It feels like, oh, this is going to go sideways quick, and it could go sideways. And I don't know that they have. All right, let me ask you this, TD. Let's say they get out and they get off to a rough start, 2-4. Do you think that they have the leadership to pull themselves out of that?
No.
So that's my concern. That's
we're starting 2-4.
What's that schedule looking like?
Probably starting 6-2.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, you guys will be okay.
Yeah, go look.
Yeah, you might be a fringe playoff team. Okay.
Yeah, go look at the schedule, and that's me being lenient. And we might be Buffalo. We might be 7-1. And if we beat the Chargers, then we 8-0. Everybody else, we ain't worrying about it. We worrying about no Jets. We worrying about no Patriots. Stop that mess.
I'm going to pull it up real quick because let's see what we're talking about.
Yeah, you pull it up.
The Colts. We're confident beating the Colts. That's going to be interesting. That's a good game. That's a good game. That's a good game. That should be a good game.
The Colts beat the Dolphins week 1. Me too.
Yeah, that's a 50-50. It don't matter, to be honest with you.
50-50. Stop this count.
Yeah, but TD, what's the Dolphins' strength? It's the D-line, right? We agree on that.
The D-line and the receiving core, quarterback.
Okay, I'll give you that one. You can have that one. You can have
QB. You'll give him QB.
Running back.
All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you can have the Colts. And y'all play 3 straight division games. That's kind of crazy.
Safety.
Safety. Yeah, I mean, he was getting cooked. I like Iffy, but he was getting cooked. We saw.
Yeah,
I know you saw that.
Y'all knew what
I did.
Expect. That's all.
We knew.
We have Minka Fitzpatrick out
2
there
days in a row. That's unfortunate.
Hey, stop that.
I don't know, man. You just told me the Browns were kind of good. You might lose to the Browns. You got the Falcons in there. I would definitely take the Falcons. I mean, let's be honest. I'd take the Falcons to win that game. You wouldn't?
So what do you have us in the first 8 games?
All right, first 8 games. So I'll give you the win Colts.
Yeah, you know what? I'll pull it up.
Okay.
So we have some Dolphins schedule.
And Dan, we don't need your influence either, Dan. Just pull it up and don't say nothing because you gonna hate. Please.
All right, let's go. Okay, here's the visual. Let's go.
All right. So 1-0.
Okay.
We'll say Patriots.
In Miami.
I'll give you all the win because it's early in the season, right? You should be ready. You guys know who you are. They're figuring it out.
2-0. 3-0.
Yeah, that's a loss. That's a loss.
3. We going to Buffalo.
I'm not even.
Dion, I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
I'm gonna be there. So you already know what time it is.
I feel like that doesn't move the needle enough for me, TD. Like I
not moving the needle for me. I'm sorry.
All right, well, they lost their Jets. I'm gonna go loss because here's my thing. I'm saying loss to the Jets. But be fair, I'm either saying that's either a loss to the Jets or the Patriots. One of the two you're gonna drop. So we'll go 2-2.
Why does that say 6:15?
And because I'm in Central Time.
Oh yeah.
You got.
So it's 7:15 then. That's a prime time game. Wait,
So,
why would it? Oh, you're
not confident in any of these. I'll give you a win here. But
Carolina. So what's our record?
Panthers could be good. So right now you're 3-2, and then I'm gonna say you lose to the Chargers. That's definitely a loss. I'll give you the Browns, and then you're gonna lose the Falcons. And then look at that. You're 4-4 with the Ravens. That's a loss. Bills probably lost. Commanders probably lost. Now you're 4-7. And TD, can they pull themselves out of that? They should be able to.
Then we go on a bye to come back to the same. When is the trade deadline?
D, but this is the crusher right here.
Out when you're shipping off Tyreek Hill.
No, I'm trying
to figure out when Tyreek Hill is going to be traded.
Could you look up the trade deadline? Do we know what that is? What week that happens?
It's early November, I believe. Let me see.
Like after Baltimore?
The NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 4th. So it would be right after this game. Once the Dolphins get the break speed off of them by Baltimore, that's when you're going to see Adam Schefter breaking news. Tyreek Hill is like sent over to the Chargers or something.
But you know the messed up thing for Miami. This is what we did last year because Calais Campbell was supposed to be traded, but we were still in it, so we didn't and screwed his year up. If things go the way Dion's saying,
you're 4-5 there.
We're 4-5, and they're not going to give up, even though that's where you should be trading people. If you're 4-5, you should, and they're not. They're not.
If you beat Baltimore, you're 5-4.
I mean, but the likelihood of that isn't great. So,
but TD, I feel like you kind of have to do that to do what you're hoping, right? Like you have to beat one good team in there. You gotta beat somebody.
Yeah,
is that Buffalo?
But we also always lose one to one we should win. It always offsets it. We haven't had a year in the last 5 years where we haven't lost to a team we definitely should have beat. We haven't had a year. Tennessee has done it twice. The Colts did it once not too long ago. That ain't happening. If it's week 1, then trade everybody in week 2. I'm telling you now. No.
Okay.
But
that's my concern, man.
I see what you're saying, but we're a better team than we put off. Remember, Tyreek not out there on the field.
No,
we
huge.
got guys that's not working right now. We'll be fine. Y'all will see in week 3 when we beat Buffalo on the road Thursday night, short week. Odds stacked against us. Dolphins win. Everybody be like, you know what? They're gonna win this division.
Damn.
Especially after the title. How many picks?
3 picks. 3 picks today for Josh Allen.
Ooh.
Really, Dan?
3 picks today. 3 picks.
He's back. He's back.
He is. He is. All right. So I feel like we should talk a little bit about Bears and then also the same thing with Josh Allen as well. So he had 3 picks today, one of which was a 50-50 shot right over to Dalton Kincaid, and then a young DB ended up wrestling it away. And then we had 2 that were tipped at the line of scrimmage for a nice little pick. But let me tell you what happened after that. Keon Coleman continuously found the end zone, 2 straight red zone touchdowns. Josh Palmer with a touchdown from Josh Allen. Elijah Moore out there cooking. One of the highest paid running backs in the NFL, James Cook, took it to the house for about 30 yards off to the sideline. Joey Bosa, 2 sacks. Joey Bosa, 2 would-be sacks. This team was very, very impressive today. Of course, barring those weird little interceptions from Josh, that's completely fine. You get them out of your system. It's training camp, right? It's joint practice. It's time to test things. It's time to go out, make things work, gain that chemistry. All in all, pretty solid day from the Buffalo Bills. All in all. And a solid day from, of course, the Chicago Bears, which I am interested to hear what you guys think on the Bears. Sounds like Caleb Williams was looking pretty good. He found Roma Dunze twice. Brand new offensive line was definitely earning their keep for the most part. But yeah, guys, I am just so excited to see what the Bills and the Bears put out on the field on Sunday evening. I'm still obviously going to be taking a look at that defensive line. I want to continue to see pressure. I want to continue seeing us improve in the run game, particularly when they hammer those A gaps. That was an Achilles heel for us last year. But I think what I'm most excited about is that we walked away without any new injuries. I think that's the biggest thing on my end. But the Chicago Bears, man, how about them Chicago Bears, Troy? Now, it's funny because they're typically the laughingstock of the NFC North. Sometimes I tap in. Yo, what's that sound? What's that sound? Yo.
I don't know. TD, you all right?
It's definitely TD. What's that sound? TD.
Come on, TD. You know you're that? Okay.
So I muted them here for a second. I have no idea what the hell that was, folks. My sincerest apologies. Okay. Talk to me about Chicago, right? Because obviously, so you have your former offensive coordinator as the head coach. They went from arguably one of the worst offensive lines in all of football to spending a lot of money at the interior side of things. So it sounds like they have an improved offensive line, have Luther Burden added to so the weapons, same thing with Colson Loveland. I do know that you were a big Michigan fan as well, so that makes sense. What are your overall thoughts on the Chicago Bears? And do you potentially see them surpassing the Green Bay Packers and or the Minnesota Vikings as a potential playoff team in 2025?
Here's the fun exercise I thought about this because I think the
fun exercise.
Yeah, this is going to be good. The pack. I don't know when. We got to figure out when the Bears play the Vikings. To me, that's going to be a fantastic because what Ben Johnson should get to me a ton of credit for is what he allowed Goff to do against Brian Flores in that defense. That defense is awesome. They were top in pass rating allowed last season. They blitz like crazy. They got their own unique style. But every time we played them, and we were awesome against the Vikings. We were super efficient. It was no problem dealing with the pressure. Goff was great against them. So what is Caleb against the Vikings? Because I think a lot of people are asking the question of like, oh, okay, hey, Goff lost Ben. What is Goff now? The question should be, what does Caleb Williams look like against a team like that? Because we have all these weapons, the new O-line, that kind of thing. But does he struggle against it? And then we're like, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Goff actually had some answers there. Or is it, hey, Ben's got answers and Caleb's going to be fine? Because to me, I think there's a floor with Minnesota. As much questions as there is with J.J. McCarthy, I tend to believe there's going to be a floor because they're coached too darn well. And that's the type of team that, like, after not buying in last year and see what they did, I would say they're winning double digits. Like, it's hard for me to not believe that Minnesota's going to go win double digits again just because of how well they're coached. For me, you said the 2 sacks for Joey. I got to assume he's lined up against Braxton Jones at left tackle. I don't think he's fantastic at left tackle. That's been a shaky spot for him. Is that who it was?
Yeah,
it was cooking Braxton Jones. Yeah. All right, that dude, like, I just believe it, man, because That's the type of dude you can get under his badge. You can sink under that guy. Darnell Wright's solid, but there are still questions. I know they invested there, but Jonah's been like shaky as heck the last couple of years. Even with us, he wasn't an elite pass protector, but their identity, I would think, all the hype on Caleb, who's playing this weekend, has to be what it was with us. They have to become a team that can run the ball and just like maintain drives, play through that. And then at that point, now they can start to let those dudes on the defensive line eat, because I don't think they have elite rushers either. So it has to come back to an identity of running the football. And that will also help against a team like Minnesota, because if you can't run on Minnesota and every play is we're blitzing like crazy, good luck with that. I think that's going to be a problem, because Minnesota knows exactly who they are. I don't know that Chicago does right now. So that's what I'm most excited to see. I would say I think Minnesota finishes above Chicago, because I just have too much respect for them at this point. Too much respect for how the way the team's coached. Obviously, I got us. And then it's Bears, Packers. I think there's a real shot Packers are fourth. So I would give the Bears a nod there.
So the Packers have a real shot of being fourth.
Yeah, I don't know if this is more of a bias for me or what, but I don't buy the Packers
so I'll
like
stop
that.
you here, right? So I'll stop you there. I am actually on board with it. I really, really am. Like, we're seeing Jordan Love right now. He's still on the IR. We ended up seeing wide receiver after wide receiver added to the IR by itself. How much can you really hope for a rookie in Matthew Golden to really solidify a wide receiver one type production this year? And when you're sitting around and you're saying, oh my God, yeah, Bo Melton's my best DB on the roster, that's a former wide receiver, I think that's a big issue. I think that this is going to be a rough season for Green Bay this year. I really do.
You know
and
what
people aren't talking about it enough. Huh?
Well, what they've done, in my opinion, is they've put all their eggs in, these draft picks that we've invested high in, they better connect this year. Because last year, that defensive line didn't do anything that they were hoping. I mean, think about this. This is their defensive line. First round pick Rashawn Gary, who's great. First round pick Kenny Clark, who's great, but he's getting older. First round pick Wyatt, who hasn't put it together. Lucas Van Ness, first round pick, hasn't put it together. Like, they're Kingsley Enagbari, like at this point, they're in that spot where it's like this defensive line that they've invested in has to come together. And I think, they really didn't invest anything outside of that. They just threw a couple more late draft picks. There's no vet that was added to that mix. They just are who they are, and they're hoping that takes a step. Cornerback, they're kind of in the same boat. Now, I don't hate their DBs because I think they're coached pretty well back there, and they do well at safety. But like, that entire defense is based on these draft picks have to connect this year. There's not a lot of outside coming in, and that receiver room is pretty much the same thing. They had a lot of drops last year. They couldn't catch a ball. Well, that hasn't really changed. They just added Matthew Golden. So I just don't buy into the way that they've drafted as much. And I think that's the difference between me and some people that believe in the Packers. I don't buy in the way that they drafted as much. I don't love Matt LaFleur either. For that reason, I put him in fourth, because I think there's fantastic coaches here, and I think LaFleur is the worst coach here, if I'm being honest.
Oh, wow. Dude, we are spending this fourth and forever shitting on the Packers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry for any Packers fans that might be tuned in. I do know that some Bears fans were in here earlier. I'm sure that they can relate with this Lions fan going in on Green Bay. But yeah, dude, like, from what I've seen, I saw Dobbs went down with an injury. So I know that Watson is still out. Have Wicks is questionable. Jaden Reed is questionable. And then all you have is just rookie Matthew Golden. Sure, I'm super pumped that Green Bay drafted a wide receiver in the first round for the first time in God knows how long, but it's tough. And plus, you have a quarterback that's missing out on preseason reps right now, injured. So I'm not too high on those damn Green Bay Packers myself. Now, one thing I would like to talk about is let's take a look at this preseason schedule for week 2, because we have a couple of games we have to think about today. Let me show you what we got here. All right, this evening, we have the Atlanta Falcons, the Tennessee Titans, followed by the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I have a pretty intriguing question that I asked TD yesterday about the Atlanta Falcons. Something that I've been obsessed with. I can't stop thinking about it. I really can't. How short of a leash would you say that Michael Penix Jr. is truly on? Not because I think that Raheem Morris is desperate to win, but more so that they have arguably one of the most expensive QB2s riding the bench in NFL history. I've looked at the Falcons' schedule during the regular season. I have. Could you see a world where Michael Penix has a shorter leash than people are willing to give him credit for due to the investment they have riding on the bench right now? Could you see a world where Kirk Cousins is given the starting job at some point during the season again?
I think if that was the case, I think their head coach might be in trouble. Like that's because to me that what was the big take, and this is how I just felt watching it. It felt like from a coaching side of things were messy last year with Atlanta. Like the way it felt like Kirk Cousins was so eager to make that work, and obviously the investment, like you said, they put there, and it didn't. And it like he felt confused when you're watching like the behind the scene, the Hard Knocks, and it just felt like he was confused the whole time. He's like, I can't make this thing work. Like we got to come together and make this work. And then the answer just felt like it was, okay, let's go to Penix. If like then you ultimately have to go back because it's not working with Penix, I think that's concerning, and I think that starts with the head coach. I think that starts with the coaching staff, and I think very quickly things could get messy there fast. I think a lot of people love the weapons they have. We buy into it, but it never comes together. I think there's something deeper there, and if it doesn't start off well with that team, they threw 2 first-round picks. They traded back in the first, gave up a first next year to go get a pass rusher. And look, I like James Pierce, but that's a crazy move to make. Like, that's a lot you're throwing into that. So it better work. Like this team better start winning and win fast. I think if it doesn't jump all out quickly, and that's something that becomes a conversation, I think the conversation should quickly become Raheem Morris might be on the way out faster than we think.
And so it's funny, too, because last year was such a weird season because they ended up sweeping the would-be NFC South Division champions in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't put it together. I'd probably boil it down to some coaching mistakes here and there. Has anything shifted in your mind as far as like a way too early, like who's running away with that division? So between the Bucs, Falcons, and so I'd say the Panthers as well. Saints, I highly doubt that we're going to be putting them right into the conversation. But say that you had to guess, like, who's your way too early favorite to sort of walk away with that division?
Well, dude, I don't know about you. I want to see the Saints this year. Like, I just want to see what the heck they're doing. I don't know what they're doing, and nobody knows. Let's see what it looks like. Like, how bad is it really?
Rat-a-tat-tat, man.
Yeah.
Tyler Shook, he's 33 years old, taking his first NFL snap.
That's the team I just want to see play football. But no, for me, it's Tampa Bay. They clear everybody else at this point for me. I'm comfortable saying they're win. But I would throw Carolina jumping in second. Carolina would be the team that could shock people, jump Atlanta this year. That's the team that I would buy in from that group.
Yes. It's the Carolina Panthers for me as well. Yeah. I have been seeing quite a few encouraging signs from their brand new wide receiver, Tet. I'm not a big Tech guy. I'm not. And so I think that, like many people are hoping that he could be a Mike Evans type wide receiver. Yeah, it's cool or whatever that he's like your 50-50. He's your contested catch guy. But say, for example, you're looking for any type of quality separation, you're not going to get it. But that's not a problem because I look at what the Panthers are rolling out there as far as a very diverse wide receiver group. I'm a big fan of Hunter Renfrow. Yeah. And so I'm not sure about you, but I am a Hunter Renfrow, like the vice president of the fan club. Right over there. Fun fact, he went to my high school, which was funny.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. So a very talented player. Then Adam Thielen, who's obviously still there. I'm not sure if anybody has given up on Xavier Legette, but I do think that he did have some flashpoints last year. Very slept on offensive line. And Bryce Young, as long as he can continue, as long as he can pick up exactly where he left off, I do think that that's a team that you need to worry about. Funny enough about Bryce Young, though, I was watching this film breakdown and somebody was taking a look at his tape saying that largely what his problem was like his footwork right within the pocket, like was very sporadic, like was very like hurried, was very panicky. And you would think that that would be so an improvement and that's what would explain his jump, but it's still very largely the same. It's still very largely the same. So it's hard for me to see like what exactly he did tweak or whether or not that he was just one of the most unluckiest quarterbacks for the first year and a half of his career. I'm not sure if you've ever spent time with film with Bryce Young, but he still remains somebody that I'm super intrigued with.
I always feel like the question it was surprising what they did last year, but it's like kind of with you on the Tet thing. I'm at least glad they put the investment there because I'm worried. I don't think Legette's going to work out there. That was my concern when the thing was I felt he had to go to the right situation, and I don't think that he went there. But if we can get it to work, obviously with it's the old guys. I mean, that's who's making it work. It's now Hunter Renfrow, hopefully for him, and it's been Adam Thielen who's been dominant over there when they've gotten that thing rolling. So hopefully just one young guy, one high investment comes together and rides along with that. But like when you think about what's around Bryce Young, Dan, it's like, what are we doing? I mean, I understand that Bryce Young is getting like knocked because it's not working, but what kind of supporting cast is this? I don't, either side of the ball, this looks like a disaster.
Believer, bro?
Man, it's not. The problem is Hunter Renfrow looks like, he might be the second best receiver on this team behind the other guy in Adam Thielen. That's the problem, is if that's the case. Because I don't know what they're doing investment-wise around this team. The offensive line's messy. The receivers, like, what are we doing here? I'm just concerned at the pieces they put together with that group. Defensively, I don't really like what they have at all. I like a couple, like, role pieces. But if they make it work, shout out to Bryce Young. And I think right now I'm less believing in the guy that's constructing this roster and more believing in the head coach and what he's able to do and what he's able to pull out of this group. That's what I would be excited about here. And it's going to be a lot of buying into. Bryce Young's got to be awesome. But I think he showed last year he's capable of it.
So look at my boy Hunter Renfrow over there taking souls, bro. Ooh, he still got it. He still got it, man. He's still got it, man. He's my dude. He's my dude. But yeah, like we said, we have the Falcons and the Tennessee Titans are going to be playing tonight. I think another storyline is going to be watching what Cam Ward looks like in his second performance. I don't think that he dominated the storylines at all for the rookie quarterbacks and their debuts, but I'm interested to see what he does against the Falcons right within week 2. What were your thoughts on Cam Ward's like first taste of the NFL?
Well, I look at it from the perspective of I think the Titans at least have the right mindset to how they were going to make this work. I don't think Cam Ward's that great, to be honest with you. Like, it's fine, but in any other draft class, there's no way I'm taking that dude number 1. It's like, okay, we got Cam Ward.
No.
I think the draft class where he doesn't go round 1. Like, I think that's on the...
So here's a fun exercise as well. And so I'm not sure if I lost Troy here for a second. Oh, no, I lost another co-host, ladies and gentlemen. I lost another one. Damn it. All right. So you know what? And so your boy was about to spit some fire. So stick with me.
There we go.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect, man. I tried stalling as much as I possibly could. I was about to say this, and some people might be upset with this, but say that Cam Ward stayed one more year in college for this year. I'm not even entirely sure that he would be in the top 5 of QBs that are about to come out of college next year.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. No shot.
Like this quarterback class, like coming in, I'm really high on these guys.
Right. And it's really like, and I'm with you for that. Like, it's like, where does Cade Klubnik get? I think he's in a weird spot because I don't buy that he has that much ball velocity, but man, he makes it work in that offense. So, and there's the weird ones, right? There's the Sellers, there's the Oklahoma. There's like, yes.
John Mateer, who I really, really like. I like DJ Lagway too, as long as he can stay healthy from Florida. Like, he's a guy. And I like Arizona Cam Ward would go above that kid from Arizona State, maybe. And Drew Aller, maybe.
Yes.
But, who knows?
Yeah, Drew Aller came out this year. I think he's quarterback 1. Like, if he would have came out this year, he's the best. He's the top quarterback taken. Yeah, so I like the supporting cast, at least, that they put around him on the offense side of the ball. I think they're giving him a real shot. So I don't have an issue with why they took him. I just don't think he's a great quarterback. So it's like, okay, I don't really know how much optimism I really even have, because I don't think it's like, if you had a Drew Aller, I'd be much more excited about what that could eventually become. I'm not that excited about what it's going to become here with who they got.
Dude, have you tapped in right to the college football show with me and J-Tuck?
I haven't tapped in, but I did see you guys released your episode. I saw the episode that released, and you guys are doing like multiple streams a week, right? Like, that's what this is.
It's twice a week. Say that you didn't have so much on your plate, I'd probably be like, would you like to be like the co-host 3?
Yeah.
Co-host 4, who knows?
Dude, I'm going to be watching because like
you're
you,
a college ball guy.
Yeah, this year, man. This year is like a different year for me. Because I've always liked college football and stuff. I've always liked the NFL better. And I followed Michigan, that kind of thing, Big Ten. But this year is different because now it's jumping on the draft prospects early. So I feel like I have a really well-rounded sense of what's, the reason teams are ranked where they are, that kind of idea, right? Like what people are buying into. A lot of it's high draft picks, that kind of Clemson's D-line, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'll be tuning in, Dan, for sure. And maybe I, can get on as a guest at one point. I'd appreciate that invite. I really would.
So a full-time host might be interesting too. You know what I mean? Like we have an SEC guy like myself. So we have an SEC guy like myself. We have J-Tuck. He's an ACC guy. He's a Florida State guy. And that poor individual.
Yeah.
And then also we have you who could be the Big Ten guy. So you're a go blue type, type dude. We have our first Patreon caller of the day. Dwayne, what up, Dwayne? What do you got in your mind, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Chilling. How you
Good.
doing?
So I'm just going to ask a question. I'm going to leave you. First of all, welcome to our guest that's here today. You're doing a wonderful job. Who, if you were to pick two teams that you don't expect to make the playoffs, but they do, two teams for the AFC and two teams for the NFC, who would you choose?
Ooh. Thank you,
That's interesting.
Dwayne. I like that one.
That's
Shout out
good.
to Dwayne. Shout out to my boy Dwayne for coming in to do a quality call-in. So I think what he's saying is two sleeper teams so to make the playoffs for the AFC and the NFC. I feel like I could probably put the Patriots as one of the sleepers.
Okay.
As much as I've been on the train that I believe that they will, I think that we could probably include the Pats being in here. And shout out to our Patreon caller, Dwayne, my boy. For the AFC, who else could sneak in?
You know who's sneaky for me? Jacksonville.
I feel like they could potentially win their division.
Okay, well maybe it's not sneaky for you. For me, it is because I would.
So for you, it is. And so I hate the Houston Texans offensive line. It's terrible. It's the worst in the NFL, and with CJ Stroud, and they are doing him zero favors in that capacity. I'd say Patriots and like what other sleeper in the AFC? Nobody in the AFC South, like not the Colts, like not the Colts.
Yeah.
So with the NFC
Miami.
is easier for me.
Oh, okay.
Please. It's like dead asleep.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't bring that up. You know.
For the NFC, I'd probably go Panthers because nobody is really hopping on that train, and then give me and the Chicago Bears for the NFC too.
Yeah.
So Bears and Panthers sleepers to make the playoffs, and then on the AFC side of things, we said Patriots, and I wouldn't even categorize Steelers. So like right as a sleeper team for the playoffs because they always find themselves there. But yeah. I'd say maybe Steelers.
I'll go Raiders from the AFC. All right, like
Raiders.
They could stabilize a little bit, you know. And it's with the Chargers losing their tackle, I don't know. Broncos maybe. I'll say Raiders, and then the NFC from a sleeper. I always like Arizona, so like I think Arizona could actually do it. Like I think Arizona could win. Yeah, I don't like Kyler Murray, but I like the team. So I tend to just kind of like Arizona where they are. But we said Panthers earlier, so I'll roll with that too.
If Kyler Murray could potentially be like a decent quarterback, then maybe.
Yeah, that's all it is. I'm not a Kyler guy at all. I like the team.
But dude is bad at football, man.
I saw you, doing him dirty with that clip. It's like, all right, it was a terrible interception, but man, we don't need to show it this many times, You got Richie like, let me check out the all-22. What's he looking at? It was that bad. It was bad.
Yeah, man. It definitely it was indeed that bad, folks. That is for sure. All right, folks, that's gonna have to do it. We have no idea what happened to TD. Sometimes I think like when TD like wants to get out of a show, like he'll like manifest something that happens.
Dude, the aliens
like
coming in.
Played like that sound or something like that, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm out of this show, man. An emergency. I gotta go." Okay. All right, TD. We love you, man. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We are live Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. EST. Always enjoy preseason football this weekend. We will have quite a bit to unpack later. Troy, is there anything else you would like to say to the audience before we let them go?
Man, I appreciate y'all having me. And Richie was here the whole time. Richie just left early. That's it.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We love you. And I will see you on Monday. Peace.